Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pixel and welcome to the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be taking a quick look at the performance and presentation of Elden Ring running on our SAPPHIRE NITRO RX 6800 XT graphics card alongside the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X CPU with the game maxed out at a 1440p resolution. All the footage in this video was captured using AMD Relive, and the performance overlay was provided by Radeon statistics server. Now, to be clear, in this video I'm going to be purely focusing on the performance, presentation and a couple of other aspects of the PC port. At the time of recording this, I've only played for around 8 hours, and from what I've seen so far, I think it's pretty clear that Fromsoft have done an excellent job of expanding the formula from the Dark Souls trilogy, and based on critic reviews, it appears that most fans are going to be very happy with Elden Ring's core gameplay. That said, I'm personally not all that experienced with the Dark Souls trilogy. I've only played and completed the original Dark Souls and Sekiro Shadows Die twice. I really enjoyed Sekiro. Dark Souls though just wasn't my kind of vibe. I only bring this up for full disclosure, so with that said, let's get right to it. Visually speaking, Elden Ring from a technical perspective is mediocre at best and disappointing at worst. Whilst there are most certainly plenty of beautiful vistas, impressive animations and a decent amount of variety, there's no denying that the underlying tech comes across as fairly outdated. The lighting in particular often looks flat, the cloth physics are rather stiff and chunky, and the overall asset quality, especially when it comes down to the materials, looks like it could have been ripped from a game released a decade ago. Now, to be fair, it's not like Fromsoft are a studio renowned for their game's graphical fidelity, and I can't imagine too many fans of Fromsoft work are going to be too disappointed by the visuals on display. They get the job done, and from time to time they can even look despairingly beautiful, but that's more down to the team's artistry rather than anything else. On a technical level, whilst it is somewhat impressive that any development team out there can create something so vast and detailed, there is still no getting around the fact that Elden Ring lags behind most other AAA developers in terms of its graphical feature set. Truth be told, if the game performed well, I'd likely be a lot more forgiving towards the presentation, but as it stands right now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that Elden Ring might very well be the worst optimized game that I've seen come out of a big budget studio in quite some time. In typical FromSoft fashion, the game is capped to 60 FPS, which, whilst far from perfect, could maybe be forgiven if it wasn't for the fact that, to my knowledge, there's no system out there that is going to be able to maintain a fluid 60 FPS anyway. At no point during my approximately 8 hours of gameplay did I ever see either my CPU or GPU getting completely saturated, and yet I saw constant multi-second dips to performance, sometimes resulting in performance dropping to sub 30 FPS levels. I think that it is most likely due to the game trying to load and unload entire areas as you progress through the open world, and thankfully they are much less frequent and severe when making your way through the more linear sections of the map. Whilst these areas of poor performance are often pretty localized, they can and do sometimes have an effect on combat, which can obviously be incredibly frustrating when you end up feeling like you're taking hits due to inconsistent performance rather than your own skill. Even when you're not suffering from these big drops in performance, the game can still present you with some rather shoddy micro stutters and drop frames. Despite these rarely causing an issue with gameplay, they can be both seen and felt, and they did most certainly negatively affect my overall impressions of the game's technical makeup. And to make matters worse, in general the PC port is pretty abysmal. Now, I know that a lot of these Soulsborne elites are likely going to try telling me that I'm doing it wrong, but the mouse and keyboard support is terrible. The whole reason why I got into PC gaming is due to a hand injury which basically limits my ability to use a controller with my right hand, so it's incredibly frustrating to have to deal with lackluster support in a genre known for its unforgiving difficulty. Not only are the default key bindings incredibly clumsy whilst offering very limited customization, but they're also implemented in such a way that makes little to no logical sense. Not to mention that even simple things like menu navigation are made extremely tedious. Basic mouse control does not fare any better either. When trying to turn the camera while strafe sprinting, the camera would seemingly stutter and fight against the player's input. Also, I found that trying to switch lock-on targets with a mouse would often require me to make huge swipes left and right to go from one enemy to the next, which made fighting larger groups of enemies an absolute nightmare. One thing that I will concede though is that playing with a mouse over a controller is obviously going to make any performance issues appear worse. This is because when using a mouse you expect your camera to move one-to-one with your hand movement, making inconsistencies very apparent. So whilst performance is still going to be subpar if you're using a controller, there is a good chance it's not going to feel quite as bad when compared to keyboard and mouse. Overall, I honestly consider Elden Ring to be a huge disappointment from a technical perspective, and only really borderline playable when using a keyboard and mouse. The super annoying thing is that it really does seem like there is an amazing game hiding underneath all of its technical shortcomings, and unfortunately, based on Fromsoft's track record when it comes to their PC ports, I'm unable to confidently say that I expect these problems to be fixed anytime soon. But with that said, that is once again going to be me done for today, so from myself and everybody here at the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please do remember to slap that subscribe button and ring that bell so you'll be notified of our future uploads. And if you've got any questions, suggestions or feedback, you can let us know by leaving us a message in the comment section down below. As always, if you've liked the video then please do leave the video a like, but once again, thanks for stopping by and until next time, we'll catch you later, bye bye.